Hello everyone, I just finished playing Chapter 9 of The Last of Us Part 2, which is the chapter called The Farm. It is a much shorter chapter from the rest of it and doesn't have a lot of action, although there's a cool flashback scene where you run and it's about to be action-like, but then it stops before the action starts, I think, and then it goes back to this weird farm life stuff. This is a weird change of pace from the previous chapters. I like that it's all story based, but at the same time, it's a little weird that it goes from spoilers for the rest of the game, by the way. It's a little weird that it goes from Ellie being nearly beaten up and killed all the way to farm life and herding sheep. That's very odd. The writing in this episode, I don't know, it makes it one of the weaker episodes, I'd say. But it's not like too bad. The writing isn't too bad. There's just a few weird lines in this episode. I like how short it is compared to the other chapters in the game. It felt like an epilogue chapter, but no, this is just the start of the third act, because at the end of it, Ellie decides to go to Santa Barbara to finish stuff off. And something weird is I thought that Tommy died in the previous chapter, but I guess not. So I guess that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like fake death, like almost. Unless I didn't catch something right in the last chapter. Um, Overall, it was a change of pace from the last chapter. It was very weird, but it was cool. I like this chapter. I don't hate it. Like Seattle Day 1 and 2 on the other side. I don't hate it like that. But it's good. I don't have much to say because there isn't a lot to this chapter. I just finished playing through Chapter 10, Santa Barbara, of The Last of Us Part 2. This was an awesome chapter. I really loved this chapter. This is one of my favorite chapters in the game. For once, it's not about Seattle, so that's pretty good. And two, it's way longer than the previous chapter, so it's normal chapter length for what I'm used to. So that's cool. And this chapter does what a little bit of what the entire rest of the game should have done, where it switches perspectives between Ellie and Abby. It should have been that the entire way through, but then they decided, hey, let's have 3 days of Seattle and then jump back to day one and you play it as the other person. So this is done way better. The encounters in this section are really cool, at least the beginning ones. After that, it's cool, but at the same time, it's a different play style than the rest of the game. The rest of the game is like you gotta be stealthy or else you're gonna die. But this one, stealth is out of the window, like, or whatever I'm trying to say with that. Stealth is like out of the question. You must attack head on. After all, it gives you like an automatic rifle for this chapter, which is really cool. But so weird. The rest of the game is all about stealth, and then this chapter is more Uncharted like, which is cool, but it doesn't exactly fit the game. Now, the ending in this chapter, the fight between Ellie and Abby, that was a pretty cool moment, I'd say. It was a little weird, but I like it. I don't hate it. So, that's my thoughts on this chapter overall. Very Uncharted-like, which is unusual for this game, but it's still a pretty great chapter, I would say. I just finished the final chapter of the game, The Farm, and the final runtime for my playthrough was a little over 22 hours, maybe close to 23, I forgot. But here's my quick review of the final chapter, which is by far the shortest chapter in the game. Why is it considered a chapter? I don't know. But basically, something I forgot to mention about the last chapter was the fact that Ellie got 2 fingers taken off of her. So, one, that's gross, but like at the same time, it's a cool way to visualize a penalty or punishment for trying to go after Abby again. It's like the cost of trying to do that. And as we learn in this chapter, well, everybody left her. She's left at the house with just her stuff. So, yes, it was a very odd ending. I like it. It could have been done better, but I like it. There's a flashback part where it flashes back to before the events of the game with Joel and Ellie talking. That's really cool, but the part of the ending on the farm, I don't know, maybe it could have been executed the slightest bit better, but I like the ending. I don't know what to think about it yet. I'll have to look at other people's opinions and hear about those and just judge it for myself with all these other opinions, see where I line up. I'm curious to see what Angry Joe thinks. I'm going to watch his video after this. Well, right now, actually, I'm completing the 2 easiest chapters in the game, Farm and Farm 2. I'm completing them in Survivor so that I could get extra points to unlock some of the models in the model viewer for some reason. So, I like this chapter, but it's one of the weaker ones because it's so short. This could have easily just been 5 minutes at the end of the Santa Barbara chapter. Like, what the heck? Yeah, whatever. In terms of chapters, this game is pretty short. Overall, I feel like I would have liked a bit more stuff out of Seattle, personally. I would have liked if there was like 5 more hours of content, or maybe if the Seattle part was shortened up and 5 hours were added to a different place. That would have been way cooler, honestly. So I'll have my full thoughts out in a review sometime in the next week, probably. I'll write a script for it and make a video about it with all of my detailed thoughts, not just off the cuff like this, but like with me thinking about it a lot. So I'll make a review soon, so look forward to that. What's your opinion on the final 3 chapters? I'm curious. I want to know your thoughts so that I can have a more informed opinion, I guess. So I liked this ending. It was a very weird ending. Honestly, oh yeah, last thing I'll just say, it totally feels like they could have just ended the chapter after Seattle Day 3 for Abby. They could have just ended it there. That was the perfect ending, because the ending in the Santa Barbara chapter, they fight but no one dies. They just decide that it is a draw again. So what's the heck? What's the point of going back to fight Abby when it ends in a draw again? That's really stupid. I get it. It's to make a 3rd game, but still. And another thing, there's people saying that like there's a whole game missing in between the events of this game and the 2nd game. And I have to say I agree. Instead of them making a sequel to this, before that, I want them to make a game set in between 1 and 2. That interests me way more, personally. I don't like 100% where this game is going at the end of it. Like, I like it, but it's not an amazing direction, personally. Alright, so that's my thoughts on it. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Bye!